Hello, and thank you so much for joining me in today's presentation in research and epidemiology. Our main focus for today's discussion is community-based participatory research, and the following are our today's objectives. So we have objective number one, definition of community-based participatory research. Then we have objective number two, we are going to discuss the characteristics of community-based participatory research. In objective number three, we are going to highlight the methods used in community-based participatory research. Then fourth objective, we are going to discuss the principles of community-based participatory research. Then our fifth objective, we're going to discuss some of the benefits of community-based participatory research. And our last and final objective for today is we are going to discuss the steps involved in conducting community-based participatory research. So let us begin with objective number one, which is the definition of community-based participatory research. So community-based participatory research is defined as a partnership approach to research that equitably involves community members, organization representatives, researchers, and others in all aspects of research process, with all partners in the process contributing expertise and sharing in the decision making as well as ownership. Let us now move on to objective number two, which is the characteristics of CBPR or community-based participatory research. So we have number one, full partnership with community members. Number two, conducts research with the community instead of an individualized setup. Then third, takes place in the community instead of a library, hospital, or clinic, or even a laboratory setting. The other one is focuses on population rather than an individual. Then our last characteristic is that impacts outcomes at community level, not at individual level. Let us now discuss our third set of objective, which is the methods used in community-based participatory research. So the methods used are three. So we have number one, mapping technique, number two, ranking approach, then number three, a transcript, walk, and mapping. Then let us start with method number one. So under method number one, we have the mapping technique. So this is a structured method for translating complex quantitative or qualitative data into a pictorial form which displays the interrelationships among individuals in a fashion easily understood by community partners. So mapping also provides a specific structure that consists of 5 steps, which include we have number one, community preparation, then number two, community brainstorming. Then number three, community sorting and rating. Then fourth, multi-variety static story analysis. Then the fifth one is community interpretation or utilization of results. Let us now move on to the second method used in community-based participatory research, which is ranking approach. So ranking approach is an essential decision-making step in community-based participatory research, and ranking must be driven not just by the importance of the issue, but also by what is realistically can be changed with the available funds. So ranking approach represents a viable systematic approach to improve the objectivity and reliability of community-based decision making. Our third and last method used in community-based participatory research is the translate, walk, and map. So the translate, walk, and map is a tool used by a group undertaking observation-based community improvement, which should include informed community members and people with the technical skills to identify the proposed solutions to the issues that are visible manifested on a walk through the community. So the transient walks can supplement formal maps and data, but in cases where these do not exist, they are an excellent tool for creating a record of environmental conditions, those arising in nature, built, and also experienced environments. The walk can take approximately 1 to 3 hours, but advanced planning is important to identify objectives and methods. Okay, now let us move on to our next set of objectives, which is the principles that are used in community-based participatory research. So the principles are as follows in no particular order. So we're going to begin with number one, recognize the community as a unit of identity. So this principle emphasizes on the significance of community for the people and the importance of using that identification with community as a starting point for the works. The second principle is builds on strengths and resources within the community. So this principle reminds us members of the community have a wealth of knowledge and lived experience from these imbalances by building trust and mutually respectful relationships grounded in an empowering process, emphasizing communication, information sharing, and joint decision making. The third principle is facilitates a collaborative, equitable partnership in all phases of research. So this principle involves empowering and power sharing processes that attends to some social inequities. The other one is fourth principle is fosters on co-learning and capacity building among all partners. So this principle states all partners bring a wealth of diversity and also experiences, skills, and perspectives to the partnership process. The fifth principle is integrates and achieves a balance between knowledge generation and intervention for the mutual benefit of all partners. So this principle focuses on integrating knowledge gains through partnership in the advancement of interventions and policies that capture the concerns of all partners and larger communities they serve. The sixth principle states focuses on the local relevance of public health problems and on an ecological perspective that attends to the multiple determinants of health. So this principle focuses on approach to health that extends beyond the individual to the immediate and larger context in which families work, live, and also play. Therefore, in CBPR, partnerships are the most cornerstone center for all projects. Therefore, it focuses on multiple determinants of health, such as social, economical, physical, environmental factors, are also examined through an interdisciplinary lens and their interactions stressed. The seventh principle is that it involves systems development using a cyclic and interactive process. So importance of revisiting each stage of the research process is very much necessary. So this is done to ensure that all voices are captured and that actions agreed upon are achieved in all phases of the project by all partners involved. The eighth principle is disseminates results to all partners and involves them in wider dissemination of results. So this principle states highlights the importance of sharing findings in an accessible and respectful way with the community and other stakeholders. It stresses providing opportunities for involvement in broader dissemination strategies such as publications and representation at the local, state, and national level. The ninth principle is involves a long-term process and commitment to sustainability. So this principle places an emphasis on the importance of commitment to the long haul through adequate investment of time and resources in CBPR projects. It therefore reminds us to keep a critical eye on sustainability and enforcement of outcomes of the community-based participatory process. 10. Tenth principle openly addresses issues of race, ethnicity, racism, and social class, and embodies cultural humility. So, cultural humility recognizes that no one can be truly competent in another culture's perspective. So, partners can demonstrate a commitment to self reflection and critique. This is done to redress power imbalances to develop authentic partnership. The last principle that we're going to discuss for today is the 11th principle, which works to ensure research rigor and validity, but also seeks to broaden the bandwidth of validity with respect to research relevance. So validity and liability helps to promote policy change and other actions that contribute to positive outcome that can in turn help build healthy communities. Let us now list some of the benefits of CBPR as our next objective. So we have one, facilitates collaborative, equitable partnership in all phases of research. The second one is balances research and action for benefit for all. It also recognizes community as a unit of analysis, plus builds on community strengths and resources. It also helps to emphasize and engage in addressing the often complex causes of local problems. It also engages in long-term process and commitments. It also helps to improve the quality and validity of research. It also emphasizes the relevance and usefulness of research data for all partnerships. The other benefit is that it improves health and well-being of communities, both directly through examining identified needs and indirectly through increasing control of research processes. It also provides additional funds and possible employment opportunities for community partners, and it also strengthens the research program development capacity of partners. It also increases the possibility of overcoming distrust of research. The last benefit is that it contributes to community organization. So this helps to bring ordinary citizens and also other stakeholders together to contribute both resources and general ideas that are used in decision making. Let us now move on to our last and final objective for today's discussion. We're going to list the steps involved in conducting community-based participatory research. So the following are the steps used in community-based participatory research. So we have a total of 9 steps. So we have step number 1, research objective or identification of the problem. Then step number 2, study design. Step number 3, recruitment and retention. Step number 4, the instrument design. Step number 5, data collection. Step number 6, data analysis. Then step number 7, interpretation. Then step number 8, dissemination of reports and the dissemination of results. Then finally, step number 9, policy consideration for CBPR projects. So this marks the end of today's presentation. Thank you so much for joining me, and if you find this information helpful, remember to share and subscribe to the channel. See you next time in another presentation. Wishing you the very best as you prepare for your upcoming exams. Thank you and have an amazing day.